Welcome, guys. You've made it to part 4 of my mini series on 5 steps to freedom. If this is the first video that you're watching in the series, I'm going to tell you to click out of here right now. I'm going to link right here to video number 1, which is going to explore the first step in my 5 steps to freedom. And that's going to take you through the steps in order. I'm not going to introduce myself because you already know who I am and what I do by now if you're watching this video. So let's just dive right into it. What is the 4th step? It is to feel. We need to feel what we've just gone through. So let's review the first 3 steps. The first was to identify. We need to identify and recognize that we are in an abusive relationship. The second step is to accept. We need to stop lying to ourselves. We need to acknowledge that this is real, this is happening, and we need to do something about it. The third step is to act. We need to take action on that doing something about it part. We need to leave. We need to go no contact, low contact, or gray rock. The 4th step, which is where we're at now, is to feel. You're having feelings as you're going through the first 3 steps, for sure. But when you go no contact and when you get away from your abuser, those feelings are going to begin to change a little bit. They're going to be very chaotic. They're going to be good days, and there are going to be very hard days. And you need to learn how to let yourself feel. You need to understand that the feeling is part of the process. And if you try to ignore the feelings, if you try to sweep them under the rug, if you try to disguise them with drugs and alcohol, they're only going to come back later. They're never going to go away. They're just going to come back in a more damaging form later on down the line. So I suggest you just confront them head on right now while you're feeling them and get through it, because the sooner you do that, the sooner you're gonna come out on the other side of that. So what does that mean, feel your feelings? Well, it means if you feel like you're going to cry, cry. Don't stifle it. Don't hide it. Don't pretend that you're all high and mighty and you're good and nothing is fazing you. If you feel like crying because you're sad or you're upset or you're hurt or you're frustrated, let those tears out. Sob, cry, because you know what? You're going to feel better after you do. You need to get that out. You need to have a good cry, and it's kind of like a thunderstorm. If you are fighting it and you're just letting out little dribs and drabs of tears here and there, it's going to last a really long time. But if you let that downpour out, it's going to be heavy, it's going to be mighty, it's going to be hard, but it's not going to last as long. It's going to exhaust itself pretty quickly. So you can kind of get it out and then move on with the rest of your day. What other feelings are you going to have? You're going to have feelings of loneliness. You're going to have to learn to cope with that. How are you going to manage nights alone when your companion is not with you anymore? You're going to have to feel through those feelings of loneliness. You're going to have to confront that head on, and you're going to have to learn how to not be lonely and how to be okay with being lonely. Not so much lonely, but with being alone. And I have a whole video just about being alone after abuse that I'll link to right here so you can check out afterwards. You're going to have to deal with feelings that come from the smear campaign. When you leave a narcissist, they don't like that. And when you are no contact with them, and you're not reacting to them anymore, they're going to need to get that supply and that reaction from you by smearing your name to others with the hopes that it's going to get back to you and you're going to react to that. You need to not react, guys. This is why you need to be no contact, so that smear campaign doesn't even get back to you. Because if you don't know about it, it's not going to affect you. It's not going to trigger you. This is why you don't check their social media, because when you're checking their social media and when you're looking at what they're doing and you're hearing what they're saying about you, whether it's them bashing you or them just playing victim, it's going to upset you, it's going to trigger you, and you're automatically going to want to react to that. But you can't. You cannot give the narcissist supply for two reasons. A, you're fueling them and giving them power, and B, you're taking that power away from yourself. You are succumbing to exactly what they want. So learn how to cope with these feelings you're having. You're going to have feelings of possible regret. You're going to second guess yourself. Did I make the right decision? Is this the best for me? Was it that bad? Could I have dealt with it? You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to replay things in your head. You're going to have feelings of confusion from that. You are going to have to journal and lay out very simply pros and cons as to why you made the right decision to leave. Yes, it was that bad. In the first little while after you leave, it seems to feel like it really wasn't that bad and that you might have made a mistake by leaving because you have abuse amnesia and you are able to just ignore how bad it really was. The further you go no contact, the further you get away from your abuser and out of that relationship, it becomes a lot clearer that it was that bad. And yes, you've made the right decision. So you need to just fight through that. And I've often compared leaving a narcissistically abusive relationship to quitting smoking. And it's just, you take it 1 minute at a time. You're going to have those cravings. You're going to have those urges to get in touch with them or to break no contact or to look at social media. And you literally just have to fight it when you have that urge, when you have that craving for those few minutes. Distract yourself. Find a sponsor of sorts, your best friend, your mother, as a social media forum dedicated specifically to survivors of narcissistic abuse. Reach out to somebody in that group instead who can kind of talk you down and get you through it and help you to understand what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and why you shouldn't reach out to them. This phase, it is going to take time and it's going to come in waves. You're going to have really, really good days where you're going to just feel so good because you're not being abused. And that's another part of the feeling phase, guys. It's not all negative. There's really, really great things that begin to happen because you get your life back. I can't tell you the relief that I felt personally when I began to remember what it was like to live my life not walking on eggshells every day. My ex was a ticking time bomb. I never knew what I was going to get out of him and when it was going to happen. He was very volatile. He had a lot of rage in him. He was very angry. He was very verbally berating, and it took a toll on me. More so than I realized, because I got so used to it, because I was with him for so long, I became immune to it in one respect, but in another, I really didn't, because how do you actually become immune to somebody being so verbally degrading to you? It takes a real toll on your self-esteem and your confidence. And it was only when I got away from it that I realized how good I could feel and how much confidence I really did have that was so squashed by him. So you get these feelings of power and of security and of happiness, and you can be up at the top of the mountain and then just one little thought or trigger or reminder and be right back down to feeling sad and regretful and confused. So be prepared for this stage, guys. It starts off very much up and down, but as you get further away, it really becomes, it starts to taper off, and it becomes very calm and stable, which is one thing you don't have in a relationship with a narcissist, is stability. So guys, let's leave that video there. So that is your 4th step in the 5 steps to freedom. We're almost there, guys. The next video is the final step, and we are free. We are free. We are so close. We can taste it. So identify, accept, act, and feel. I'll see you tomorrow for the 5th and final part in this mini series. And as always, I love you all.